and a live crochet project. Today I'm celebrating the start of summer with a pool-inspired crochet bunting. So I stitched up this really fun, really quick bunting pattern inspired by the water. So you can do this, of course, in any color you want. If you've got a party coming up, if you want to do it red, white, and blue for a patriotic party. Obviously the options are endless. That's one of the fun things about playing with yarn and fiber, is that you get to customize all your creations. So I'm going to show you how to do this pattern today. In the video description there is a link to the free pattern. You can go grab that on my website, Julie Measures, and grab the pool party crochet bunting. So if you are familiar with crochet at all, you might have heard people talk about a granny square. Well, today we're going to do a granny triangle. Yes, it's just what it sounds like. Instead of making a square shape, we're going to make a triangle shape, and that's how we're going to make this bunting. I am using some Just Craft yarn today for the demo. There's our pattern. Here's our finished bunting. Let's spread that out across the top. This is for decorating. We're not making a wearable item today, but just for some summer party decorating. So use whatever size hook it suggests on the yarn that you pick up. The original pattern I used a bulky yarn, so I used a little bit bigger crochet hook. Today I'm using a slightly smaller yarn, so I'm using a crochet hook that matches that. So let's just run through the granny triangle real quick, and then we'll work on that bobble edging. Hi Shannon, thank you. She says so adorable. Thank you. It's fun, and I'm hoping to get lots of use out of some parties this summer. Okay, so I am starting with the granny triangle, and I'm going to use a magic loop to start. So I'm twisting my yarn, the short end's on top. I'm going to stick my crochet hook up. I'm going to grab my yarn and pull it through, and that's how you do a magic loop to start. I'm going to chain 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is going to be the beginning of round 1. So I'm going to make 3 double crochets. 1, 2. The yarn is being a little difficult for a moment. 3. And then I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to make 3 more double crochets. And those chain 3 spaces are going to be the corners of our triangle. So if you've made a granny square before, you know that you make a group of, usually a group of double crochets, then a chain, then more double crochets, until you make a square. We're using that same methodology. We're just making a triangle. So in this last section, part of this original chain 6 counts as my first double crochet. So I'm finishing round 1 with 2 double crochets, and then making a slip stitch to join my starting chain, pulling that all together to get my triangle. Then we're going to slip stitch over to the corner, and there's our little triangle. So we can go around several rounds. Each round gets bigger than the round before. So we're going to chain 6 again, and I wasn't counting, sorry about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to make 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And just like in that round 1, we'll come back around, and part of that chain will act as the first double crochet, and so we'll end against that. So this time I'm making a chain 1 space in between each corner. So each corner is going to get 2 sets of 3 double crochets with 3 chains in the middle. So I did 3 double crochets, I chained 3, then I make 3 more double crochets, and that's that corner. Then I chain 1, I come over to my next corner. We're always going to be working in a chain space as we're working on our granny triangle. I always want to say granny square because that's, you know, the more common way to do this, but we want a triangle for our bunting. Okay, then I'm going to come back to where I started, and I'm making 2 double crochets, and I'm finishing by slipping into my starting chain, and there's round 2. I've got my corners. Alright, let's do one more round. I want to slip over into the corner again to start. Chain 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make 3 double crochets, which is like the second half of this corner. That chain 6 works as 1 double crochet here, the chain 3 in the middle. Now I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to come to this chain space in the middle, and I'm adding in a set of 3 double crochets here. So basically you're going to be working sets of 3 double crochets in every chain space, and in the corners you're working 2 sets of 3 double crochets with chains in the middle. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. It's fairly similar to a granny square. We're just making, you know, 3 corners instead of 4. Teresa says it looks fun to do. Thank you, Teresa. 1, 2. So if you missed any of the beginning, we're making this bunting with the crocheting. So we are crocheting triangles, making granny triangles instead of granny squares. And this primarily uses double crochet and chain stitches for this part of the pattern. So you could keep, you know, going around to make this as big as you want. I'll show you in a minute. Because I used a smaller yarn than the blue, this triangle is going to be a little bit smaller. But, you know, use whatever size yarn you want. You could use a really, like a lace yarn if you wanted to do a really tiny bunting. So there's our triangle. Excuse me. Grab up some water real quick. I can hear my kids in the background. So there's little voices. It's because my kids are running around playing. Okay. So we can just tie that off. And then you could use a tapestry needle or your crochet hook to weave in those ends. If you wanted to, you could do blocking to really make that set. So there's our triangle. But because it's for decoration, you don't have to do, you know, you don't have to weave, or you wouldn't have to block if you don't want to. So for the bobble edging, I'm going to grab some different yarn. And we're going to start with a slip knot. Okay, so you would grab your triangle pick a corner to start, single crochet, then I'm going to chain 2, and in the second chain from my hook I'm going to make the first half of 4 double crochets. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, and then I'm going to pull through the first 2, but I'm not going to yarn over and pull through the second 2. I'm going to start another double crochet, because now I'm adding a stitch with each portion of this double crochet that I'm doing. Now I'm up to 4. I'm going to do one more, and I'll have 5 loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on my hook, yarn over, bring through all of them, and that makes your bobble stitch. And then you can make a couple single crochets. You can just crochet into your thing, and then in the next stitch you'll make that bobble stitch again. So single crochet, chain 2, then in the second loop you'll do the first half of those double crochets again until you end up with 5 loops. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on our crochet hook, and we bring through all of them. Then you keep going along your thing, and you can start seeing that bobble. Now I'm using, this is a way bigger yarn than the other yarn, so the bobbles are really big, but you can do it on 2 sides of your triangle. So we could do one more, maybe, if I have enough left at this little, I just grabbed some scrap to do this. Let's see if I have enough to make one more bobble. There's 3 loops, 4 loops, and 5 loops. Yarn over and pull through all of them. So I'm going to just tie that off. You can see that makes those bobbles, and you can just repeat that on the 2 sides, and then you get this fun bobble edging on your bunting. Then once you've made a bunch of these, you can do it a couple different ways. You could either make the triangles and do the bobble edging and then stitch the triangles together, or you could make the triangles, attach all the triangles together, and then do the bobbing, or the bobble edging. It's really up to you. I know I have a bunch of hanging ends. Those, of course, would all need to get woven in, but we're not gonna do that at the moment. So once all your triangles are made, you can attach them together just with a little chain stitch. So you can chain however long you want the end to be where you're gonna need to tie it. So you can see this, I left a length so that I could tie that, hang it up for the party. But you're just gonna chain, you know, whatever length you want that to be, and then just slip stitch across the side of the triangle that you didn't add bunting to, and that's how that gets hung up. So you add another line, add the slip stitches across. And then in between each triangle, you would want to leave some space there as well so that it drapes. But you can, you know, put as little space or as much space as you want, depending on how you're doing your bunting. So you just slip across the top, chain whatever space you want in the middle, and then go on to the next triangle. A link in the video description so you can go grab that free pattern. Have fun with it. You know, color coordinate for the party that you're throwing. I kind of unintentionally matched my bunting today. I just really like the color blue. I wear it a lot. So, another reason to have blue bunting. So throw a party so that you have a reason to crochet some granny triangles. You can also check out, I just made a really cute summer bag out of some crochet granny squares. So make sure to check that out over on the website also. Let me know, of course, if you have any fiber questions, knitting, crocheting, whatever it is that you're working on, you're crafting on, let me know. And if you have any specific questions, let me know and we can answer them here live too. Have a great time, and I'll see you for more yarn fun later. Bye.